and this is Archbishop Viganò, who several months ago wrote a letter to President Trump warning him that, what were the exact words that he used about a new world order? Remember, he talked about a demonic
The
force.
Satanists and Freemasons.
Yes, he talked about the Satanists and Freemasons that were trying to take him down. And so now Archbishop Viganò has written another piece, and he said President Trump is preparing to fight against the demonic forces of the deep state. But he goes on, in this op-ed, he says, the deep state has joined forces with the deep church.
Yes, the deep church. And by the deep church, he means the communist elements that have been engendered within the global church, particularly within the Catholic Church. And
he mentions the Jesuits.
right, the Jesuits in particular, and of course right now you have a Jesuit Pope.
Okay, and
So-
yes, and so Doc, this article that he wrote, Archbishop Viganò said that George Soros is funding the Jesuits.
Yes.
That Soros money is flowing to the Jesuits, and he also says in this article that the Beijing Communist government of China is bailing out the Vatican.
Right, and let me tell you how that's working, folks. All right, so basically when the whole Corona Cootie plague came about, they shut down virtually all the Catholic churches around the world, okay? Now, basically what they did is they shut down the flow of money that went from every church on planet Earth back to the Vatican, okay? So that money flow stopped, Rick. That money stopped. They've got the place to shut down. So the Vatican finds itself in a unique position. They have no money coming in. Now, notice a few weeks ago, Rick, that they eased up some of the restrictions on China and the relationship there. In fact, they have been endorsing a bishop for China that they normally would never have, even considered before. What Archbishop Viganò is putting out there, Rick, is saying that the Chinese Communist Party is underwriting the Vatican right now because the Vatican is broke. The Vatican has no money coming in. They're broke. And so the communists are underwriting the communist leadership of the Vatican, and then the Jewish Pope of the left, George Soros, is funding groups like Antifa or every other color revolution that you can imagine. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, they're all connected. They're all combined. They're all one movement. This is a global communist revolution that is taking in the deep state and the deep church as well.
And this is the letter he first published that went viral with President Trump retweeting it. His most recent, and this is one from today, he's now outright saying the New World Order is pairing with Satanists to take over the election.
Edward, we didn't put the right article on the screen. I just sent it over to control room. The one that we wanted is the actual letter where it says Deep State has now teamed up with Deep Church to overthrow Trump, usher in New World Order. That's the one that I wanted to show our True News audience. So I don't know if we were able to.
I believe that's the last letter. They'll have it up in just a moment. He wrote the letter before that President Trump retweeted, which he mentioned the Masons.
That's
He
the
mentioned
one-
Satan.
yeah,
the one today is the one from basically talking about the New World Order.
That's what I wanted to
Okay.
show. Yeah, that's the one we were supposed to talk about today.
Okay.
So, all right. So that's what we want to talk about. Again, the headline, Deep State has now teamed up with Deep Church. There we go. Thank you. You guys are great. Deep State has now teamed up with the Deep Church to overthrow Trump, usher in New World Order. Folks, Archbishop Viganò, you were like a True News contributor. Oh my gosh, Doc, I can't write headlines like this. This is awesome. Look what's happening. A high-level Catholic archbishop is talking about a conspiracy a deep state and a deep church conspiracy to overthrow President Trump and bring in a new world order.
If you tie in his previous opinion pieces, therefore the Masons, the Freemasons, are equated with this global communist movement as well.
Yes.
It's tied together, ladies and
And he
gentlemen.
goes after the Jesuits. He
Yes.
clearly goes after
As
the
a
Jesuits
communist movement.
and points out that the current Pope is a Jesuit and that it is against, I didn't know this,
That I
That
didn't
it
know
is
it either. I had to
against
look it up to see.
that it is against the charter of the Jesuit order for a Jesuit to be the Pope.
That's correct.
And so he said the current Pope is in violation of the original order of the Jesuit Society.
So if that's the case, maybe he's not really the Pope.
No, he overthrew the Pope. Pope Benedict is the Pope. We said this on True
That's
News
why
years
there's
ago.
two popes right now.
I said it on True News when Obama was in the White House. I said they just overthrew the Pope. There's been a coup d'etat at the Vatican. They've overthrown the Pope. They just put a Jesuit communist, liberation theology communist into the papacy.
Yes.
It was a coup inside the Vatican. And now you have Archbishop Viganò saying there is a sinister deep church system operating in the shadows with the deep state in the government. They're
Yes.
working together.
It is one movement.
And he talks about
That's right, it's very
Democratic
rare
Party
that
and
you
the
have
Chinese Communist Party
Working together.
a pope
working together.
who
And he says
is,
the Soros is
still
funding
alive
the Jesuits
while there's
and
a new
Beijing
pope.
is sending money
so he
to
was
the
forced to
Vatican.
step down.
So what do
So
we
what
have
did
here?
they use to force
Chinese
him to step
Communist
down?
Party, the Jesuits,
Anything like
Freemasonry,
the operation
it's
with
all
Epstein?
coming together
Who knows?
in a new world order. And look, if you got Freemasonry, you have Jewish Kabbalah.
That's right. That's all it is.
So you have the Jewish Kabbalah movement, you have the Jesuit Freemason movement, you have the Communist Party. It sounds like what Tatiana Karagnia told us in 2001 about a cabal that was taking over the world in the shadows.
The word cabal comes from
Cabal?
Kabbalah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
The cabal comes from Kabbalah?
Yes.
Imagine that. Well, there's one other statement that the Archbishop made. I thought this was very interesting. I'm going to read it to you. We don't have the quote. Doc Edward, he said, listen to this. In the international geopolitical context, the role of Italy may appear in some ways marginal, but in reality, listen to this, Italy is a testing ground for the experiments of social engineering that the globalist agenda intends to extend to all governments over the span of the next 10 years, 2030, both in the economic and political sphere as well as the religious one.
Okay. Now, why is that significant, Rick? Did we see Italy as the testing ground for earlier this year?
In the coronavirus,
Yes. And for the government restrictions and the control of population and everything that was going on in Italy back in February and March of this
the
year.
elimination of senior citizens.
That is the global plan. That is the
That's
global
right.
plan.
Italy was the
just
Kickstarter
the testing lab.
on the
That was
coronavirus.
just the place for the whole
You had
10-year plan.
the most-
to do that to the
The
entire
most death
plan.
being portrayed on the
And if you
news.
don't know about P2,
You had army
study
trucks
P2.
lined up all the way down
P2, Masonic Lodge,
the thoroughfares. I mean, huge trucks.
P stands for propaganda.
10 of them, 11 of them,
I've often
huge ones,
wondered if it's
supposedly
a
filled with
P2
bodies.
lodge, where's
Those
P1?
images
I've
were
never
showed.
found out where P1 is at, all right?
I got the ball rolling
The P2
on the,
propaganda lodge of Freemasonry
pandemic.
in Italy. Silvio Berlusconi was a member of it, and but so you have Freemasonry, you have the Roman Catholic Church, you have a lot of stuff happened.
And that
in
former
Italy,
Italian
and
president also was
the dear Archbishop
tied
is
to
warning us.
connected to
He's saying, pay
underage
attention to
prostitution
Italy. They're
and orgies and
experimenting
whatnot.
on us. And they're going to roll this out to all the nations of the world over the next 10 years. 2030. Which is the date the Lord gave me years ago, and gave me an assignment to build a media platform, and said have it built by 2030.
But you know, that number 2030 keeps popping up again and again and again in UN documentation. President Xi Jinping brought it up
Yes.
once again this week in his address to the United Nations General Virtual Assembly this week, 2030, a target date. There is some significance among the Kabbalists, the Jesuits, the Freemasons, the leftists, the communists, the Jacobins out there toward that date. And I believe
Absolutely.
it's demonically driven, that it's driven numerologically somehow.
Those are a handful
And that
of the actors
They've
involved.
got this date set in their mind, Rick, for total world domination.
CFR,
That's
Committee
the
of
plan.
300, Club of
Nothing,
Rome.
no compromise on that. That's
It,
their
it goes
plan.
on and on.
I agree.
Skull and Bones, Bilderberg Group.
Can it be hindered? Yes.
Yes, it can be.
Can
Yeah,
it
the
be
saints
stopped?
of God
Yes.
will,
Yes, the
will
church should
respond.
rise up. But on the other hand, if prophetically, if we are at the end of the age, nothing's going to hinder it, because we're going to go into that system. But only God
Anyway, I
knows
just wanted to
when
post
that
this.
time
Thought this was
is. I believe
important.
Satan has tried numerous times.
I
Yes.
encourage anybody watching this
And
video to definitely
God stopped it.
get off the YouTube
We're watching
plantation
it right now.
and check out
What they're really trying
TrueNews.com.
to
They
bring
post
forth is a
Godcast,
flood. Listen to me.
Monday through Friday.
A lot of people
They go
think,
live, I want to say around
you know, all my life,
3
Christians
o'clock.
talked about a revived Roman Empire.
and
It had to be revived
check them
Roman
out.
Empire. The Bible doesn't. You will not find
If you're
it anywhere.
financially able, I
Revived
would
Roman
definitely
Empire.
say this would be a good
Dispensational fantasy.
place to
That's
support.
Dispensationalism, Dipsyism.
If you no longer go to church and you need to
Bible doesn't talk
tithe,
about revived Roman Empire.
this would be a good
But
place to do it.
My personal belief, and that's all this is, my personal belief, is that what is going to come forth, this fourth beast that Daniel saw, with teeth of iron, that would devour, that would make war against the saints, that would prevail for a season until the Ancient of Days stands up and comes for the church. That this fourth beast, I believe that it's not a revived Roman Empire, it is a revived pre-flood satanic empire.
A
I believe-
neo-Nimrodian empire.
Yes, it's pre-Nimrod,
Yes, it's before the.
pre-Nimrod.
And also, if they have an excellent documentary
Satan ruled this world
on the
after the
it's
fall.
called Sacrificing Liberty.
Satan was in charge of this world
It's,
after the fall of Adam and Eve. in
One of the
garden.
best documentaries I've ever seen, and
And
I've seen a
The
ton.
world became so wicked
It's very well
that God
done.
had to destroy all human life. And I believe that what they're anticipating is the reappearance of that.
And if you
satanic
happen to be a
world empire.
End Times Ministry supporter and you
They are trying to bring
follow and listen to
Satan out of
Irvin
the abyss.
Baxter,
They're waiting on their God.
I would really
Lucifer,
ask you
come out
to
of
reach
the
out to
abyss
Irvin
and take his
and
seat, his throne.
challenge him
on the
on
world.
with what
And we know
Rick Wiles
that
is
that is
saying.
the
I think that
person
if those
that
two
there
could
will
get
be a
together, I know
who will be-
Rick's
who will be
interviewed him in the past, but I would love to
possessed
see
by
those
Satan.
two minds get together
Popular term is Antichrist.
and
The
have
Bible
a
doesn't
debate
call that person
on
the
their
Antichrist.
end time theology.
Antichrist is a spirit.
Yes. But there is a man of perdition.
I
It's a man, son of perdition.
I think
Man
both of them
man said,
or
man that
are
destroys everything. But that
correct.
person will be totally possessed by
if that's
Satan.
I know that sounds kind of off, but I mean
That's
I
who
think
they're
the
waiting
truth
for.
kind of
That is the
lies
Messiah.
kind of in the middle
is the one they're
between
waiting
both of
for.
those gentlemen.
And
I think Rick Wiles
that
and
person,
his view
most
and Irvin
likely
Baxter's
will
view,
rule from
I think
Jerusalem.
the truth lies kind of
and all
right
these
in the
silly
middle
Christian
between
Zionists
both of
that
them.
want to build a third temple, they have no idea what they're doing. They're building
Well,
a
that's
throne
just
for
my
Lucifer
opinion.
to sit in Jerusalem, to declare himself to be God of the world. All right, that's enough Bible prophecy for a Friday. Um,